Okay, Chris. So you're stumbling around the house. You're all alone. You're
Mm.
eating leftover salmon. You don't know what's coming for dinner tonight, but you're also doing some work. And apparently, you were looking up some things about quality score, and you stumbled on a little bit of a gem of an article
Yeah.
with some very interesting information. So we'll have a link to this in the description. But Chris, why don't you go ahead and give us the title of this article on Google Ads help, and then we'll kick it off talking about this most interesting thing we saw in it.
Yeah. So, what the entire show is going to be based on is one article that reveals quite a bit about quality score. And I wanted to bring it to the show here because quality score is absolutely a very mysterious, very hard to grasp type of thing because there's so many factors surrounding quality score. And right off the bat, when I was reading this, it caught me by surprise because, as Jason said, the first thing that it states in this article is, and I'm just going to quote Jason. I think the best way is just quote it. I'm going to say, you can think of quality score as a general indicator of which areas to focus on to improve ad quality, comma, and here's the part that just kind of hit me in the gut. So you're thinking about it as a way to improve areas rather than a score to be optimized. I if you don't understand the shock in that, it's essentially saying this is a gauge to tell you which areas are green, yellow, and red, but you shouldn't be focusing on constantly optimizing and trying to get nines and tens, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should not be trying to optimize constantly to improve and get further and further in quality score. It's just an area of improvement consistently in certain areas rather than optimization. That was shocking to me, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. So the article is 5 ways to use quality score to improve your performance. So it's not like you shouldn't focus on quality score, but at the same time, it says these are areas to focus on rather than a score to be optimized. So
Right.
should you optimize for quality score? Or should you just do the things that lead to a good quality score? I think that's maybe what you should do. But just to give ourselves some credit here, Chris, how often do we hear new clients and fans of the show ask us about, like, what should my quality score be? Can
Mm,
you get me to nines and tens? And then we give honest answers that say, probably not. And by the way, we won't even look at it
yeah.
um, because it's just not something that
Yeah.
factors into the way we approach Google Ads, because by default, we're doing everything that we can do that's under our control to get good quality score, because that's the stuff you do to run a campaign the right way. And there's other factors of quality score that we think are outside of our control. And if they're outside of our control, then they're outside of our control. So I guess to answer the question, how often you should optimize for quality score, or how do you optimize for quality score? My answer is I try to run effective Google Ads campaigns,
There you
and
go.
those lead to the best quality scores possible on all the different keywords. How does that
Yeah.
sit with you?
Yeah. Jason, I live in Texas, and this is a place of
You
big
don't mention it,
trucks,
really.
big, loud trucks. And one time I went on in a ride with a friend that had just a massive truck. I mean, you had to like grab the handles and like pull yourself in. I mean, it was massive. And I made a stupid comment by asking about what his gas mileage was,
Mm.
you know? And he's like, "Did you see my truck?" Like, I don't care what my gas mileage is. It's doing what I want it to do. And that's the analogy that I want to say with Google Ads. It's like, he, your vehicle is going to get the gas mileage that it's going to get,
Mm.
right? Your Google Ads account is going to
Wow.
get the quality score that it's going to get. You just keep putting fuel, and as long as you're happy with what the engine, what the system's doing, it's going to get what it's going to get. A van and a little Tesla over here are going to get different mileage because they're different vehicles. They're different domains, they're different things, they're targeting different things, but you get what you get. And I feel like people that are obsessed with quality score, it's like they're driving some massive hot rod vehicle and they're concerned because they're not getting the same gas mileage as some little eco vehicle in the lane next to them. That's not
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, my vehicle shows me how many miles per gallon I'm running at each time I'm driving, like every second I'm driving. So like
Yeah.
if I hit the acceleration, I'm burning more fuel. If I'm rolling and I'm not hitting the accelerator, I'm getting the most possible miles per gallon. And then if I'm just sitting there, I'm getting the least miles per gallon because the car's on and you're not moving anywhere. So for me to get the best mileage out of my car that I can, I just have to drive reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, don't accelerate on the downhill when there's no reason to accelerate when you're already going the speed limit. Um, don't leave the car on outside for like an hour and just burn all that fuel if you aren't going anywhere for an hour. But so everything I do by default when I drive is just trying to get the best mileage that's possible while still driving a vehicle and still burning fuel. And I think what happens when people focus on that quality score column, I'd say almost at all, really, if they're
Mm.
doing everything right in their account.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if they're still focused on it and making changes into their account, that's where it's kind of like instead of focusing on driving, I'd be focusing on getting the most miles of fuel, and I'd be like, playing games with my accelerator and
Mhm.
if I run into the house to grab one drink, that's going to take 10 seconds turning the car off because I don't
Yeah.
want to lose 10 seconds. It's just, it takes
You
your
make
eye
bad
off the ball. Yeah.
decisions.
You make
Yeah.
bad decisions. Yeah.
Make bad decisions just because you're focused on that micro little number, which yeah, it's a great analogy there.
Which before this, I mean, you could always make a case that that's the right thing to do because quality score is such a driver of performance in ad rank.
Yeah.
But now we see it here in black and white on the Google Help Doc. It's not something that, it's not a score to be optimized. It's not.
Yeah.
So you know what? Just take it away. We don't need that column anymore.
Well,
Come
no,
on.
that's not.
Come on.
No, I don't know
I
about
do
that.
good in the meeting.
Don't
Just take it away.
Take
Take it from them.
Yeah, they'd love you. They'd love you. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, Jason's just taking things out. That's great." Well, let me say
that
let's
doesn't happen.
let's jump into the first couple things. But before we do, I want to say there are 3 areas that we're going to talk about, and they're all for now, as of today, still available. They haven't listened to Jason yet, but they are going to be referencing 3 columns that you can see at your keyword level. They're going to reference expected click-through rate. They're going to reference ad relevance and landing page experience. You can find those columns in the quality score section of your keyword metrics at the keyword screen of Google Ads. And that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. So we're going to talk about some of the information that you get at that level and what that means and how to interpret it and how to react to it.